Hello everyone, and welcome to my Blinx the Time Sweeper All Medals Speedrun tutorial. I am Lotus, and I'm the current record holder of the game. In this category, I will be the one guiding you through all of the nooks and crannies that go into the All Medals Speedrun from Blinx the Time Sweeper. Before we begin, I do need to explain full diagonal movement. In this game, Blinx moves faster with diagonals, and by extending the dead zones of your controller, whether that be through modifying the dead zones of it, or getting a modified controller that already has extended dead zones, you can increase Blinx's speed by upwards of 33%. If you do not have full diagonal movement, a lot of those tricks that come in this run will not really be possible. We've mentioned it before in the any % speedrun tutorial, how if you don't have full movement, it is about 50% slower. Well, in All Medals, that difference is more about 70 to 80% slower, and that is because there are glitches associated with full diagonal movement. So with that said, and that out of the way, let's begin. Now, the timer is not going to be running for this, since this is a tutorial only, but the timer would start once you hit yes on this screen right here. Now, right away, in 1-1, there is a medal that we have to get, and we don't want to get a pause for it. So, it is right there, under the pillar. So, you have to move immediately toward it, don't prioritize anything else. Because if you prioritize anything else, you will not have enough time. And the movement that I've set up here is such that it will limit the amount of tutorials we see. But we want to sweep 5 trash right away, and then take out the first enemy and open this door. Take out the second enemy, and now, here's where another trick comes in right away. So, we need to shoot 2 trash. One goes right there, and the other, you have to jump up and aim for the hand. And that is a good placement. So you'll see that there is a trash now hanging on the pillars, on those stakes. So, we're going to jump up onto the red barrel, jump up there, and then we can jump across. Now we want to jump around to get this gold. Ideally you want to try to get 100 if you can, but if you don't, it's not the end of the world. Then you jump around to get the other medal. From there, sweep 1 more trash, and then most of the approach is like if you were running any %. But the other difference is that you have to shoot the other red barrel right there, so you can jump up and get the final medal. This is important because otherwise, you would have to revisit this stage later. And all those tricks means you don't have to. Now that stage could fully be done without fold movement, but again, it would be slower. Now in 1-2, it's important that we have to start getting time controls right here. But, unlike in any %, where sweeping the red barrels here is faster, here it's faster to sweep the gears because they have an exaggerated hitbox that lets you hit that chrono blob. And then from there, with full movement, you can go right through this gate, and then that lets you get 1 medal early. So we do need to get the pause here. Take out all those enemies right there. You have to be a bit peculiar on how you sweep. It's important that the red barrel is swept last, but this is where you have to use the pause. So we're going to aim for the pillar, jump onto the pillar. If you pick up retries, that is perfectly fine. But there's the second medal. It's also important to get 2 rewind crystals, because we're also going to be picking up rewinds as well. So, use the red barrel to jump up, and then go right here for the third medal. If you're playing on original release, you could get away with 1 less trash because there is a TomTom biker, so you'd want to get more gold as well. But it would also be worth noting that there is no chest on original release. This is the Japanese version, or Platinum Hits. But once you have all 3 of those medals, you can finish the stage. It's also important to have swept both Dust Hurter balls by the end, as they're both worth 100 gold. A good amount of gold to get on that stage is 350 when considering the trash. Now, 1-3 is not going to be explained too much. If you are familiar with any percent, this is the same route. And you might think, why would we do this? And that's because there is a medal that we cannot get under normal conditions. And it's because it's behind an invisible wall. That was a really good snipe that I did not mean to get. So, we can just clear it normally. We will come back to this stage later on. And bosses will also not be explained very much, with the exception of really just one, and that's because they also follow the same script as any percent. Get stun locks where you can. You want to try to sweep as many of these bells as you can, because each one is worth 30. And we're going to need a lot of gold throughout all medals. Now I'm going to get more of the gold because I really do need all the gold I can get. And I'll take this as well just because the gold is horrendous. Now I always say in all medals, round 2 is where the run truly begins. This isn't the case in any percent where it begins in round 4. But in 2, in all medals, round 2 is where it begins. The opening is like you were running any percent though. The first diversion is to get a medal right here. We do want to get all the medals because there are glitches that we're going to be using. And there are a total of 6 clips throughout the game that we will use. 5 of them exist just in round 2. So, once you have that first medal, you want to sweep both gears because you do want to get one long shot in. You're going to sweep up 3 red barrels. Take out the other one. Shoot. It's important to jump before you shoot that one because you want that to bounce off the wall. Because we're going to be setting that up for a jump to get that medal right there. If you get a fast forward in this stage, that is good as well, but it's not critical. Then you can just jump over the door. So now here comes the first of the clips. So shoot the fridge against that left wall, and then with full diagonal movement, you should be able to go right through if you have the positioning right. If you don't have the positioning right, what's going to happen is you're probably going to go like that. And camera positioning is also important here, so as you can see, if you don't get it right, it can really waste time. But once you have that third medal, you can finish the stage. The only stage we will revisit in the run is 1-3. And we'll do that after 4-2. So 2-2 has, I would say, the most complex of the clips. Getting in is straightforward, but getting out is not. So after you sweep 2 trash to take out the 2 enemies at the start, you want to sweep any 1 trash and then the TV. The first trash does not matter, but the TV is what does. Because you need to shoot it against this wall, and then if you have the position right, you can jump right through. So to more reliably get out of here, first you want to sweep both the wheels. You want to turn around, make sure you turn around very subtly, though, because you don't want to be moving here. Then you shoot the small wheel, then upright diagonal movement with jump spamming will let you get out. And that's how you do that. If you don't do the setup, you can get out faster, but only if you jump out like the first time. Now, if a fast forward crystal drops here, pick up 2 fast forwards. Because rewinds won't be an issue since we can get another. This is another clip here. So with the right camera angle and upright movement, you can jump out of bounds and then slide to down right, and then you can immediately get this medal. There is another way to do this jump, which I'll also go over. We will be using a rewind to fix the bridge, so don't worry. But that's the other jump. After you get the medal, though, you do want to activate the rewind. And normally this would be to prevent the bridge from collapsing, but we can fix it too. After you get the 4th medal, pick up a rewind, pick up 1 bomb, and then pick up 1 more trash. I do recommend shooting the roulette here. Just make sure that you actually get gold there instead. You can live without it, but you would want to get some extra gold instead. So I'll go ahead and try to get the gold anyways. After all, this is a tutorial. Wow, I suck. After you get the gold, which we'll wait for, yeah, that's fun too. Okay, so we'll just take the small gold to move on. So, if you have 2 fast forwards, use 1 here to shoot that. Normally I would have only, I would shoot 2 trash there, but you can get away with 1 as well. And then finish the stage. If you only get 1 fast forward, just save it. Because we're going to need a lot of fast forwards coming up. And you could get by in the run without using that. Just make sure that if you do use the fast forward, that you enter the goal gate before it expires. Now 2-3 has a jump right away, that if you're familiar with the any % route, we do the same thing. So, take out both enemies to start. You want to try to get a fast forward here if you can, but it's not the end of the world if you don't. But the first medal you do want to get right away. You want to let that octo balloon shoot 1 trash because we need it for later. So we do get the fast forward, that is good. And then go for the bridge shot. Swim all the way under to get that medal, and then get all the gold here. Now, it's important that you actually get the gold here as well. You can get by without the gold from the 2-2 roulette, but you can't get by without it on this one, because this one gives more. The timing that I always give is once the crystal icon passes, then I time a shot. Now, this clip, I would call the second most difficult, but I do have the position right. If you don't have the position right, you do need to readjust until you do, but we can use this to go right under the map, if we have it right. Now, I actually don't quite have it right, so now I should. So now I should be able to jump right under the map. Yeah, I don't have it right yet. So adjusting this is very, very delicate because you do not want to sweep it again. So now I should. Nope. There we go. So now I have the position right. And once you do, you should be able to go right under the map. It's important to time a jump right away because you will fall into the void if you don't. And obviously you don't want to use retries if you can help it. Now you may think that we're stuck here, but just like with the 16-ton weight in the previous stage, we could jump around this one too. Like that. So now you want to sweep this wagon again, and then sweep one more trash. Then jump up, like that. And then here's the easiest of the clips, mercifully. If this desk cabinet does not get smushed, that is okay, just sweep it up. You've still got the position right. But here's the cue that you have it right. You'll notice that I wasn't moving, though the camera was kind of spazzing. That's a sign that you have the position correct. If it decides that it just wants to keep you there, there is a way around it. Like this. All you have to do is just move your camera down right, and then it'll clip. Now I'm not going to hit the roulette a second time because I only won it once. And in a realistic attempt, you would only be able to hit it once. If you feel you're short on gold, you can collect the extra gold there, but you can get by without it. But it's important that after 2-3 you have 17 of the medals. The 2 boss approaches the same way as in any percent, so we'll just go ahead and deal with it. If it goes to the right, you can get an early second hit on it, and there is a time to do this. So, pick up the fast forward, sweep both red barrels, do 3 stutter steps, and then after it lands from its jump, that's when you should be shooting its back. Then activate the fast forward. Finish the stage. So 3-1 also approaches similarly to any percent to start. So we're going to activate a fast forward again. Now you want to try to get another fast forward here if you can. It's like I said, you do want to have a lot of fast forwards. So, sweep all the trash, taking out enemies as you go. Now, if you don't get enough fast forward crystals, say you only get 1 or 2, that's not the end of the world. You can always go up above, and you can sweep extra trash there as well to get 2 fast forward crystals. But I had enough, so I was good to go. Now, after you hit the yellow chrono glob, it's important that you want to sweep regular trash, and then you can do regular trash or bomb. It's up to you on how you want to do that. It's just preference. Either way works. And then, if you swept the bomb first, 2 more regular trash. And if you swept the regular trash, then it would be bomb, then regular trash again. But now we have what we need. So we take the sandball to get that medal. You jump over here. You could jump on top of the 16-ton weight from the ground, but we're going to use this to sweep the red medal. And then I do get this extra gold. Because as I mentioned, there's a lot of gold that we need. And then the third one is we shoot that extra trash that we swept, jump on top of it, and then you can get that medal. And then from there you can finish. So 3-2 is the first introduction of the shops that we will be using. And after 3-1 you should have 20 medals. So we need 1,800 gold for this shop. This we're going to get the large sweeper pack to carry 10 trash permanently, and an extra time control. So we sweep 2 trash at the start of 3-2. As you go down, you want to make sure you damage the pink aqua bloom. There is one metal hidden back there, so don't miss it. There we go. Now if you missed that, like I just did, you can just sweep the extra trash that's over here. That's okay. But you do want to try to have 2 trash here, because once you hit this, activate a fast forward, sweep all the trash you can. Now here's the important part. Leave the open bridge. You want to open the door with the button. But take out those octa balloons. Now sweep the open bridge. I actually have 1 extra trash, so. Second medal you get by just walking into that. And now here's 3-2 heavy skip. So you need to have full diagonal movement right here. And the way you get this is by you have to adjust the camera. You're going to notice that Blinx is starting to spaz. He starts to spaz less as you get closer to it. And then once you have the right angle, you'll start to fall like this. And then once you're in, you want to pause. So you'll notice that I always pause spam doing this, and that's because of how pausing works. So the way pausing works in this game is if I hit A on resume game right now, Blinx is going to jump. And this will let us get right inside to let us get the medal, some extra gold, and a retry if we do mess this up once. So we'll go ahead. As you can see there, I didn't move far enough. But this is what happens if you miss time to jump. So there is no harm in pause spamming. But once you have it right, then you want to be jumping. So let's take the retry because we messed up once. Now, this is where the open bridge comes in. This is how we're going to get out. As you can see, with the right positioning, you can use the open bridge to clip right inside the 16-ton weight. And trash does not have any collision other than on the outside. So you could walk right in this case. And I would recommend sweeping the open bridge again, because you do want to add some extra trash if you can help it. I did notice that I got the record crystal right there, so I do want that. But once you have all 3 medals, you can finish the stages if you're running any percent. I'm just going to take that extra gold with me. Now, ideally, you want to get 2 records here if you can, but if you only get 1, that is okay. Oftentimes, if I have 2 fast forwards only, I will save it because I want to keep some fast forwards for the next set. But you do want to get all that gold too. And then you can finish the stage. I know I have not explained prizes yet, but that's not going to really come into play until after we have 40 of them. So, 3-3 opens just like in any percent. Sweep 3 trash. And then damage what you can. Now make sure you don't miss like I did. If you could get a rewind here, that would be good, but it isn't the worst thing in the world if you don't. But I am going to get it just to make it easy. Now, for these jump pads, you could skip one with properly timed jumps. And then there's one medal at the end of it, there's one medal up here, and the third one is down below. So they're very close by each other. And once you're done with the medals, you can activate the fast forward. And I would sweep up till you have 9 trash. I will take this extra trash with me just in case I miss. That. And as mentioned, you can finish the stage just like you would in any percent once you have all 3 medals. But it is important to sweep both dust intervals. Now, if you only picked up 1 record, you want to pick up the second one in this stage, because you do want to have 2 by the time you are out of 3-3. If you time your bomb shot properly, then you actually have enough time to sweep that open fridge before entering the gold gate with no lost time. And I do this because it's an extra 10 gold. It's not a lot, but it does add up over time. 3 boss approach is the exact same like in any percent. So we're going to try to go for the early hit if we can. Which we did not get because I did not sweep the barrel properly. There we go. One thing that is worth noting is that if you did not get a rewind up to this point, you do want to pick one up in this stage. And then if all 7 of the platforms are still there, and Mulsor appears far enough away, then you can activate a record to duplicate your money. $1550 is a good amount. Ideally, you want to get 1500 when considering the trash. Now, if you're familiar with any percent, you'll know the trick here is to do the jump right away, but to avoid the medal. Well, it's a lot easier in all medals since you have to get it anyways. And then you can do a single jump, and then you're good to go. So from this point, we're essentially going to once again complete the stage backwards. It's important to get the gold where possible, and remember that water spirits take 10 hits to go down to their mini form after on original release. But on JP or Platinum hits, it's only 6. And then make sure you don't forget the red medal in that water that I went to before going to here, because that medal can be very easily missed if you're not careful. And then the blue medal is down there. Ideally, you want to try to take both out if you can, but it's okay if you don't. The 4th medal, I would usually recommend getting at the end, after all enemies are taken out, but you can do it anyway. Now, I missed 1 shot, so I'm going to have to take the extra hit here. Now, ideally, you want to have a fast forward, looks like I'll be able to get one. Something else I would recommend picking up is one more record. We're going to want to have 2. So once you're done, you can have the rewind. Now, if you keep the medal until right here, what you do is you jump here, and then you can jump up. So from there, finish the stage. Now for 4-2, you want to have at least 5,500 gold, just like in any percent. However, in all medals, there's an even better way to go about it if you have 5850. And that's by 4 super bombs, on top of the heavy sweeper and the extra time control. The start of the stage approach is similar to any percent. Sweep heavy trash, and then sweep 3 small trash. You want to try to hit gold on the roulette here if you can. Got it. And now, you want to shoot 1 heavy trash towards the wall here, because then you can jump up. Both trash do work here, so it's just personal preference on how you do it. Though I will say, the cannon/train, whatever you want to call it, is larger, so it would make the trick easier. But then you'll use 2 heavy trash to take out both yellow chrono blobs, then shoot a bomb, open this door. Now here, we're going to do this is where it diverges if you get 4 super bombs. So this bomb approaches similarly, and we did hit it, so. Now, we want to activate a record, and then shoot. We want to double jump, and then shoot the other heavy trash and the super bomb. And then this record plays out similarly to any percent from there. So what that means is we don't have to go all the way around. Now be careful. Try to avoid going across this gap right away if you can help it, because if you do, you could accidentally hit yourself and cancel the record, which you absolutely do not want. But once it's across, then you can safely jump. However, there are still 2 more medals in the area that we have to get. On JP, this silver medal right here, you can just hit the jump pad and then go right into the tree. But otherwise, it's right here, so just use the jump pad to jump here instead. The third medal is behind this heavy trash. Now we want to pick up fast forward crystals if we can, because we want to pick up 2 fast forwards by the end of the stage. Now you could, just like with the gold medal at the start, it's personal preference which trash you want to use, but the cannon or train is easier. So there's our 2 fast forwards. Then you jump back up. And then once you have this left, this is where the second record comes into play. So you do that. And make sure that the record does not end. What we just did there is known as record abuse. So when you activate a record, the game kind of takes a snapshot of everything that you had before you activated it. And so what ends up happening is basically we just used all that trash to deal with those last 3 enemies. But because we did it in a record state, it's like we did not use it at all. So that gave us an extra 1,140 gold that we would normally not have otherwise. So it's a very big difference. Now I mentioned that we're going to revisit 1-3. Here's where that comes into play. There are 16-ton weights here. You can get around both of them, but in order to get all 3 medals in one visit, you need a really early fast forward, and you only have 2 stages to get it. And I say 2, not 3, because you don't want to pick up time controls in the first stage. It just wastes needless time. Now, because I had messed this up last time, I won't have to deal with it this time. So, you can do that jump. The red medal is right there. You don't want to get that on the first visit, because that just wastes needless time. You don't want to do that. And then the third medal requires a fast forward in this case. And make sure you have... It's important to have multiple fast forwards in case you mess that up somehow. But generally you should get that within 1. And then once you're out of the revisit, you could head back to 4-3. So this stage opens just like in any percent. You shoot 2 bombs. You want to have 3 bombs and the dust hurter ball by the time you leave that room. Now, something that I recommend trying to do is getting early damage on these Chiropteras in the distance. And that's important because you want to try to be able to take them out with 1 bomb for them. And that's when you get back up there. But the medals are right here. And then you want to jump across, jump down. You do want to pick up the fast forward crystals because we're going to need more fast forwards. But use the movement to get back to the jump pad as soon as possible. And then, so I hit both of them, so that means I've dealt 1 damage to both. This fast forward approach is just like in any percent. Sweep as much trash as you can, deal with the water spirit, deal with the octoballoons. It's important that you want to try to get another fast forward here if you can. I'm ignoring the time controls here because I wanted to pause. So, pick up those pause crystals, and then sweep this 16-ton weight. Go to this jump pad, and then jump up. We use the 16-ton weight on an octoballoon instead in this case, even though they only have 2 health, because it makes things easier to deal with here. As you can see, now they're all dead. Now you want to pick up at least 1 pause. You can get away with 2, but 1 is actually better. One thing you'll notice is that I don't have a rewind. So we want to try to have a rewind as well, if we can. If you don't get one, that's okay, since you do have another chance within the next stage. Now, normally I would not jump down to do this, but I saw this rewind crystal. Now, if you do jump down like this, you can actually make a shortcut like this. And with that, you're back at the end of the stage. And now we have 40 medals. So at this point, you'll notice that there are now 9 red medal spots. Those are what I like to call the auxiliary prizes in all medals. So if you lose time in a split because you got a prize, rule of thumb is consider around 7 seconds lost. That's perfectly fine, because you can't control when you get those. Now, just like with the first boss, we want to try to get a stun lock on this. with that, we're out of round 4. You do want to try to get a rewind there if you can, if you don't have one. But, like I said, if you don't, that's okay, because you do have another opportunity. 5-1 opens with sweeping those 2 trash, just like an 8%. However, there's a medal that you don't want to forget that's right here. There are 2 ways you can go about getting this medal. You can sweep it, or you can try to jump down and jump back up. Like this. These medals do have a pretty generous hitbox. But once you have the medal, you want to take out the yellow chrono block, and then use the heavy trash to take out the spiker and the mulgon. Just like in any percent, let's try to get the friendly fire. We got it. I would sweep as much trash as you can here, but once you're past this monster door, activate a pause. It's important to have the coal heater specifically as the trash on deck, because that's what lets you jump up here. And then you can use the open bridge as well to make another shortcut jump. So damage that pink octo balloon. Now, I mentioned the rewind at the start of this stage. If you don't have a rewind, then you can also get away with the slow as well. But a rewind is faster, so keep that in mind. Now, I'm just going to pick one up because I saw it. We're going to need one after all, for 5-2. So activate the rewind after you get to the spike gate. Sweep the golem pieces. It's important that you get a pause by the time you end the stage. That said, you only need to pick up 1 pause crystal because there are 2 right here. And then to get this medal, you want to jump to the left and then jump back to the right. If you don't feel like you got enough gold, you can sweep this large log here for a bonus 60. But it's not critical. You can get by without it. But I would only do it if your natural gold in this stage is less than 600. So you'll notice that we got 1 prize there, which we just want to skip, just like all the other prizes. So 5-2, the strat for dealing with the enemies is just like any percent. Get the extra time control at the shop, buy 3 super bombs. But there is a difference that is important with all medals, and that's a medal. Keep in mind with 5-2, the first enemy is a mulgon, not a pink octopus. So make sure that you have the means to deal with that. But you do want to be sure that you get up and sweep that. Now Blinx does a celebratory animation that he does when you get a medal. If that happens, you could do a full double jump because it will think that you're actually on the ground when that happens. So keep that in mind. Now, I don't know the timing because I didn't get up on the first barrel, but we are going to predict it. So activate a record, deal with the green dust herder, then try to shoot a bomb. Now we did get the timing right. If you don't get the timing right, or you miss a shot placement, that's okay because you're going to have to get other medals. There we go. Now, I always would recommend having as much trash as you can, because you want to make as much money as you can. I don't know how I didn't get a time control there. There is kind of a timing cue for that shot, for timing a pause on a spike gate. It's once you see the spike gate completely closed that you should time it. I'm taking this large barrel because it's an extra 60 gold. But to get this third medal, you'll notice that it's going to crumble. Let it crumble. If you can get extra time controls here, do so. But you'll notice that it's now right on the middle. You can just jump and get it. Now this double door here is clearable with just full diagonal movement, but it is kind of precious on timing, so you don't want to move too early or too late. And good, we did get a pause too. You want to end with at least a rewind and a pause at the minimum. Then you can use that shortcut jump to get back up. Now 5-3 is a raw execution stage. You don't need a shot for it. But we do need to pick up time controls where possible. The most important one is fast forward. But the opening 8 enemies are just like you were running at any percent. Now I'm going to take the extra fast forward because I'll be able to get the extra things that I need unless I get really unlucky. Yep. You want to end 5-3 with one rewind because of 5 boss. So, but you don't need to pick up a pause unless you didn't get one in the previous stage. So if you see that kind of smoke appearance for a Mulgon being underground, there's nothing wrong with activating a rewind preemptively. In fact, it would be better for you to do so. Now, unlike in any percent where we also take that gear, we don't actually need it in all medals. But you do not want to forget this medal. And the third medal is behind the spike gate. So as you can see, that's where I got the timing right. The timing here is precious. You have to be very precise with your movement. And make sure you don't miss like I did. Now you can get away with pressing the button, but you don't have to. In fact, in all medals, you actually do gain 3 seconds for not pressing it, because you can one-shot both the spiker and the octoballoon. But once you have all 3 medals, you finish the stage out. We got 2 prizes in round 5 this time. Like I said, you can't control when you get them, so if you lose 7 seconds on a split because of a prize, that's fine. So this is why we needed fast forwards. We're going to be using 2 here. Because 5 boss approaches similarly to any percent, where we're going to make it stop rolling early. Use a fast forward to get through that, then use a rewind to stop minions. Now, the position that I've put in is such that the minions will never hit you. 6-1 also opens very similarly. Activate another fast forward to deal with the Combustosaur. I would recommend having 4 trash before you take out the Combustosaur. And then sweep up 4 more trash. The most important enemy to damage there is the purple Chronoblob. Because then you have 2 HP on all of them. It's important that you do some double jumping too, because then the Chronoblob will stop trying to pursue you. If you can get an extra time control there, that's good luck, but you can make do without. But as you can see, it's a lot faster when you already have the enemies taken out. You do want to get a rewind, a record, and a fast forward if you can. This is very good gold luck. If you could get the early shot on the purple Chronoblob across, that's good, but you can live without it. Just make sure that you get the early shots on the green dust herder and the blue octopus. There we go. Now make sure that you hit the right target. I want to try to get another record if I can. But just like with the other case, it's not critical if I don't. If you can get a fast forward here too, that would be good. But you can also live without it if you can. You do want to have at least one, though, 4-6-2. So I'll see if I get luck. I did not. That is okay. So for 6-2, we will do shopping just like in any percent. A good amount of gold to have here is at least 6,500. I've got over 7,000. That is very good. But the first shot in 6-2 is just like in 80%. You want to aim for the corner of the door. Damage the Chronoblob on the other side. Jump across. You can jump up to this section right here from over there, but I would only do it if the gold on the lower section there is a 12, not a 36 or a 60. Well, I wasn't expecting friendly fire to happen. From the minecart, you want to double jump onto there. It is pretty precise, so you have to get the timing down. But once you have the gold cat medal, activate the record. Deal with these enemies. It's important to delay your last shot though, because you want as much time as you can get to prevent yourself from blowing up. So the third medal is right there. Once you have it, you finish the stage. Now, you don't actually have to wait for the gatekeeper, you could just jump on the log. And use the 16-ton weight to deal with the chrono blob. And then use your other heavy trash to deal with the Morgon. And then with one more trash to deal with the Dust Herder at the end, you can finish 6-2. The 6-3 has multiple different approaches that you could take, and I would base your decision on how many fast forwards you have. I only have one, so I want to only buy 2 super bombs. You want to buy at least 2, but if you have enough, if you feel you have enough gold and enough fast forwards, you can get away with 3 for a different trick. But the opening starts just like in any percent. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to jump down. We jump down this way because this way it puts us right in the balloon. Now, if you had more fast forwards, you could also try to go for a bomb boost from the top section at the start, but it can be kind of difficult, so be careful if you're going to go that way. And then you can jump on top of the door. And the next section here is just like in any percent. We needed a rewind from 6-1 because we're going to use that to open this chest twice. After all, we got downtime here anyway, so we might as well. You know what? Yep, and then pick up time controls. Based on what crystal drops up here. You're going to avoid picking up that Dust Herder ball because you need to get this medal. Jump across. Pick up one of the cones here, so then you can get an early kill. Then you go down here. It's very easy to fall off, so be careful when going down like that. And then from there you can finish the stage. Six boss approaches exactly like how it is in any percent if you use my route, which is we're going to get 2 super bombs and we're not going to money dupe. We're not going to triple dupe, that is. We will activate a record to get more money, but we will not triple dupe. There is one slight difference though, but start by picking up fast forwards. So normally, you would want to pick up 2 fast forwards if you can, or 2 pauses, but I didn't have the space and I didn't want any of my time controls overwritten, so that's why I only got 1. I'll try to get another one in 7-1. That is really good gold luck. And with that, you're out of round 6. So going into round 7, just like in any percent, you want to buy 3 super bombs. So this starts just like if you were taking my approach. So damage the Typhoon. And then, if you get a good placement, normally the Ice Turtle is supposed to take out the Typhoon, so keep that in mind. But we want to use this button, and then our slide moving is what we call moving. But I need to get a pause. So that's why I need to prioritize getting that. The first medal though is right here, and you can try to jump for this one, but you're on solid ground, unlike 5-1, so it's easier to just not do it. Then double jump onto the button, and then shoot a super bomb across. That will damage the Spiker and the Typhoon. You do want to get the gold gear on this roulette. Normally you would have at least one trash to spare there, but because I had missed the Spiker, it didn't. Now you're going to want all the records you can get, because even in all medals, round 7 is very record heavy. So I'm going to try to get this crystal. Yep. There we go. Then we're good. And then once you have the red medal and the 16-ton weight medal right there, use this button to open the final door. There is still one more medal, but it is in this area. So take out the Spiker and Gatekeeper, and then you only actually have to sweep the cannon here, but I recommend sweeping both because it's not that much of a time waster, and it is an extra 70 gold. So by keeping both of those trash, you're getting 135 extra gold. So 7-2 plays out somewhat similarly in any percent as it does here. But the difference here is that whereas in any percent, most routes kind of function similarly, in all medals, Grand Showstopper is better. And the way I get that timing down is I adjust the camera down right during the first jump and the second jump. And then as I get close to landing, I'll shift my movement from up right to up left. Now I only actually need one extra trash here if I deal with the Typhoon, which I did. But that's how you get the first medal. Make sure you take out the Spiker. Jump down to avoid triggering the collapse there. The second record functions the same way. We're going to take out the Spiker across. Now, if you get unlucky like that, it's not the end of the world. Just make sure that you have a means to deal with the Spiker quickly, if that does happen. But the red medal is down here, which is next. So I'm just going to sweep some extra trash because I want to deal with that Spiker in a fast-forward state. After all, we need it anyways. So use that timing again. Make sure you don't hit the Spiker during that section because it does still have a hitbox. Now, the reason why you want to have 2 pauses is just in case you miss this. So use that second pause to get by, and then you're good to go. I thought I saw a pause crystal there. Now I do want to pick up that. I'll actually also take this extra pause. But the 4th medal is right down there. You can go for the jump there too. It does work. But it's easier to just not bother. And then once you have the 4th medal, you can finish off just like in 1%. And once you have all 4 medals, finish the stage. I was about to say, this game is being really stubborn on not wanting to get the prizes. So now we're in 7-3. Just like any percent, we want to buy 4 super bombs. And the first 3 enemies start out the same as well. So, sweep the log, trigger gatekeeper, damage it, sweep 2 trash. And then get by. More. And you do want to hit the roulette gold as well. Deal with the water spirit. Alright, we got the timing good. It's important that you jump towards that ledge again if you do not want to accidentally fall off. The one important thing here is that you want to sweep the coal heater because it's a tall enough trash that once you get this medal, just get this extra, that, you can jump right up here. Now if you time it right, you can actually slide towards the edge here of this iceberg and then get that medal. Now I'm going to try to go for a glitch that you could get by without getting, but it's worth more gold if we get this. So we're going to get 2 fast forwards. And we do want to get a record as well. Now that's just unfortunate luck, so we'll just go for the guarantee. Yeah, the good thing about 7-3 is that 3 of the medals are next to each other. So if you're going to go for the gatekeeper glitch in the method that I have for all medals, you activate the record right here. Shoot that. Trigger the gatekeeper, just shoot the super bomb then. Now, we do want to hit the gatekeeper with the 16-ton weight. I missed, so I obviously am not getting it. There we go. The reason why I just took it upon myself to do that is because this could be notoriously long for a wait. We don't want that. But this current time control set that we have is good. Now, obviously, I didn't shoot the extra super bombs because I kind of missed the gatekeeper, so it wouldn't have mattered. But if you do get the gatekeeper glitch, you can potentially get an extra 500 gold. But again, you can get by without it. And then you saw that I jumped off the slide instead of from the iceberg. I do that because that guarantees that it works. If you do it from the iceberg, yes, it is faster to get it on the first try, but it's also a lot worse if you fail it. And I'm just verifying that I have 71 medals, which I do. So, normally I have enough gold. I would say I have more than enough gold by this point to skip the record usage here. However, I want to make this successful for everyone, so I am going to use a record to duplicate money here. I don't know why I always fail that. Worth noting that in all medals, you can get away with not doing a single triple dupe. So you don't have to deal with using a retry. Now I'm going to go for this one. Duplicating, because this timing is a lot more forgiving than you might think. And I have more than enough gold anyway, so that's why I have to get away. Now with that, we're out of round 7. So Forge begins by going back to 6 shop. And we need to get a water sweeper and 3 super bombs. You may have to get fewer super bombs if your gold is smaller, but I have enough gold that I could justify 3 super bombs here. So with 3, you want to get 1 there. Now, you'll notice that that bomb went into the void. Unfortunately, can't really give you a prediction for that. So, if it does happen, restart the stage. And then you want to shoot that towards the wall. What was supposed to happen in this case was it was supposed to take out the Octobloon on the other side of Hash Brown City. But because we didn't get it, we're going to have to sweep this extra 2 trash. So, hold down the button and make sure the lava gets drained all the way. This is for the second medal. So, once it's drained all the way, gotta bolt for it right away. Because there isn't really much forgiveness for that. But you can do it with no time controls. Wow, and there's our first real death of the run. Outside of 3-2. If you do get a death there, it's whatever. You can just then use your iframes to go across. But the reason behind why we need that extra super bomb is we're gonna we'll be damaging the spiker on the other side of that super bomb. And that is really unlucky. Yeah. I could get a fast forward here. You do want to have 2 fast forwards at least, because of a bomb boost that's going to be coming up in the next stage. So, have 2. It's better. There we go. Now, if you could get an extra record too, that would be good. And I will go ahead and delete the time to do that. I always recommend having 9 trash, just so that I can sweep one of the barrels when I jump across here for the third metal. Be careful with these gears, is that they can crush you. So, and that's a good shot. And once you have the third metal from that side, there we go. So I'm going to try to see if I can get that. And there we go. So I've got a good amount of time controls for this next stage. The game definitely seems bent on wanting to give me prizes as late as possible. So here, on 8-2, depending on your gold, you could buy either 2 or 3 super bombs. You always want to buy at least 2, but you could buy 3 if you have enough gold. If you buy 3, then you don't need to use a record. And because I did buy 3, I have no need to use a record, but I will have to use a second fast forward in turn. So I'm going to grab that. And then we're going to nuke those enemies. Okay. There. I am going to need that, so that's why I'm trying to get the extra fast forwards instead. If you have an excess rewind, you can use the rewind instead of a pause. And if you have a slow, I would use a slow instead. This section is very laggy because of how much goes on. But you can jump towards that to get the medal. Now, I kind of got in a bad spot there, so I'm going to bite the bullet and just do this. Normally, you would jump into the lava to take the hit, and then you could jump right to here. Obviously, I got unlucky, so in that case, we'll just take what we get. So we deal with this Combustosaur. And that is good luck. We do want to get one more pause, but we obviously only had that. So, the timing for this pause is once the Tesla coil is on the 3rd spot. Oh dear, that's bad. Normally you would want to sweep all 3 golem pieces, but I'll take what I get. So if this was a real run, because I got 2 prizes on this stage, I would be losing 14 seconds because of the prizes. But again, I can't predict that, so keep that in mind. For 8-3, we want to buy 3 super bombs. And this 3 is 3 no matter what. But it approaches just like any percent. So we want to deal with that. Normally I would not shoot the super bomb right there, but because of where the cat metal landed, I kind of had to improvise. If the cat metal doesn't move, then go for the other kind of shot. There we go. Now I'm going to move this fridge over there. And we're going to jump right here, get this metal, and then jump down. And because the 3rd metal did not move, we can just get it right away. There we go. I do want to get an extra record by the end of the stage, so that's why I'm wanting to get this. But the way you get back up is you jump onto the cog wheel, and then jump on the central part of it, and then you can time a double jump to get across. To deal with this golem, we're not going to pause, we're going to sweep 1 golem piece straight out. We'll sweep 1 large barrel to deal the other 2 damage. And we want to sweep 1 more trash. So to time this, you could do it at any point during the jump. However, the important part is that you are aiming for the chain. And then it'll start moving around. Once it's around there, activate a pause. Jump on top, and then you can make a shortcut right to the end. I'm just going to make sure that it gets triggered. And then this is the ideal time control set that you want to have by the time you finish 8-3. And then if you did everything right, then the last 3 medals should be gotten right here. And you know you've got all the medals if you get prize 13, which is that special sweeper. And then once you're through that, then you could go through and finish the game as if you were running any percent. So we're going to buy 4 spike bullets here. Whether or not you need to get gold from 8 boss depends on how much gold you have before shopping. If your gold amount is at least 4,160, you do not need to get any gold. But if it's less than that, give or take in the range of 400 less, then you will need to get the gold from 8 boss. So keep that in mind. And you only need 4, don't buy any more, don't get cheeky. And the reason why I say 2 rewinds going in is ideal and not 3 is because there is 1 more in the stage. So that's why you want 2 rewinds, 4 fast forwards, and 2 records. So we're going to activate a fast forward. This boss could be awful with luck, but you could get anywhere from 1 to 12 rolls, as far as I've seen. But ideally, you get 1 roll every time. But just like with 5 boss, we're using rewinds to prevent minions from spawning. And we're getting hit intentionally to ensure that we don't deal with the countdown that we do with the rewind. So, make sure you don't get struck like I just did. Now, I got 0 extra rolls, which is perfect. But to deal with the last hit, wait until it loses its iframes, and then shoot it. Keep in mind, that head does still have a hitbox until it disappears. So if you need to get the gold, wait for it to disappear before you get the gold. And with that, you're out of round 8. Now the reason why we need 2 records for the boss rush is because it is faster than only having 1. Because if you recall the record abuse strat that we did in 4.2, we can do the same thing here. And I'm definitely going to the wrong stage. So, make sure you don't go to the wrong stage. So, for the boss rush, this is just like in any percent. But the important part here is how we manage each boss. So once you deal with 3 health, Dust King goes kind of berserk. Then you can use a spike before it jumps. And just like with 4.2, the game's taking a snapshot, so we still have 9 spikes. And we do want to get rewinds again. So these approach exactly like their regular boss counterparts. Only difference is that we just have spikes for all of them. So that's the reason behind no commentary here. It's basically the same. And here's a different part. We're going to use record abuse again, so that we have 6 spikes. That gold isn't actually counted as collected, so keep that in mind. And then this is where those extra spikes come into play. So we're going to let it shoot. This shoot 1 trash. We're going to get 2 fast forwards. Make sure you don't accidentally take damage. There you go. Remember, you only need 4 spikes for 8 boss. And now we have 4. So you're good to go. And then 8 boss approaches the exact same way as we did previously. There is an extra rewind here in case you need a safety net. But you should be able to get by without it. One thing worth noting is that you've probably noticed that I'm trying to be close to the middle of that shadow, and that's to minimize the knockback that I take. So you'll notice, pretty close to the middle, basically no knockback. That lets me activate a rewind immediately to deal damage. And then another rewind. If it does only one extra roll, you could still take the damage before it stops, before the rewind expires. So keep that in mind. And I said rewind, but I meant fast forward. And just like that, you're out of the boss rush. And then for the final shop, you want to buy at least 5 spikes. We always buy more just to have a safety net in case we miss, but 5 is the minimum. And then we want to get to phase 3 as soon as possible here. The reason why I'm having my camera up, in case it hasn't been made apparent, is that it reduces lag. Yeah, none of those crystals will be taken. There we go. Oh dear. Should have been a spare one, yep. And then the timer ends when you land the final hit against Unicorn. Just like that. So you'll notice that I was going around him. Basically, as the armor was breaking apart, and that's to minimize the distance it charges. So, and you can basically always dodge it with full diagonal movement as long as you start directly behind. But with that, that is how to run Blinx the Time Sweeper all medals.
Wisdom to me drum knack. I stack zelbom seacraft na.
Now keep in mind, with this run, I wasn't going to at full potential because I wanted to explain every nook and cranny that I could within this game when it comes to this category. So, sometimes your reaction time has to be a lot faster, and you'll have to be willing to bleed time just to get some extra time controls if you can. And other times, if it's too far out of the way, you need to not get those time controls. You gotta hope for luck elsewhere though. That said, if there are any questions in the comments, please feel free to ask. I will always try to answer the questions to the best of my abilities, if I can. If I can't answer it, then I will give you a straightforward I don't know. But that said, I do think that I can say I'm very knowledgeable in this game, so I should be able to answer any All Medals related question. Something I did not explain in the first stage is that there is a clip that you can use to get the third medal by going around the 16 tunnel. I did not go for that because of its difficulty and too marginal of a reward if you do get it. It's only about 6 to 8 seconds faster, and that assumes you get it on the first try. I also did not explain 1-3 heavy skip, and that's because it is very luck dependent, and even if you get the luck, the execution is more difficult than that of 3-2 heavy skip. As mentioned with full diagonal movement, those clips that I did within round 2 and 3-2 are not possible if you don't have full diagonal movement. So you have to have movement, otherwise you are not going to be able to do that clip at all, because you don't have enough speed. So I'll go ahead and let the rest of the credits play out. But that said, thank you for watching.
Stak zelvom Seacraft ma. Strukt zan. Di serwas tam.